Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How many are there? 84. What is the total strength?
94, ma'am.
94. Okay.
Start.
So welcome back to the entomology course. Okay. So I think so last semester, okay, 10 days back, or I think so you went to your native. And in the first course, that is the fundamentals of entomology or the introduction to entomology, you have undergone. Okay. So I think so Shivana sir took the course.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what you have learned in first course? Because today I'm not going to deal with directly to the topic. Okay. So I will just discuss what you are going to study in this semester. Okay. So everyone is fine in the house?
Yes, ma'am.
To respond me. Okay. You have to respond me because now you are in the house again. It is an online business. Okay. Please respond. So then only we get interest to talk or to teach you. Okay. Everyone is safe. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay then. So here in the last course, what you have studied in the last course? ಏನು ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ
Taxonomy.
ಓನ್ಲಿ taxonomy.
Morphology, anatomy.
Taxonomy.
Okay, so that means in the first course you try to understand the what is an insect. Okay, because everyone you know all the insects. Even a kid will be knowing what is an insect. Okay, but in the first course you try to understand. So what is the basic structure? That is the morphology of the insect you try to understand. So also you have learned about the physiology like the internal organs. Okay, so the system you have learned and also the metamorphosis means everything about the basic you try to understand in the first course. And the second part of the first course you have is the taxonomy. Okay, so the taxonomy, I think so you have tried to classify the insects based on the characters. Okay, here you are taking the characters in the first semester, whatever you have that taxonomy classification. So we are using the characters, okay, for the classification into different orders, different families, suborders, all that you have taken into consideration. Whether the wings are present, all those characters are taken into consideration for the classification. So this second course is completely different. Okay, here you are going to study the application of the entomology. So where we are going to use the insects in the pest management. Okay, so here that means you should not forget the whatever you have studied in the first course. It is a continuation. Okay, you should not forget because the orders, families, it is a very important thing. Okay, how was the first course? It was good. Did you like the first course? Did you like it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So before starting the course outline of this semester, please attendance is compulsory. So I asked CR to send the screenshots. So after coming here, don't come for the attendance. Whatever it is sent by the CR, it will be marked in the attendance. Please try to join the classes. Okay, so you know the difficulty. So after coming here again, it may be for 1 month or 2 months, it may be lockdown, but again, after coming here, you have to write the exam. Please utilize the classes because I think so you might be knowing the experience of your present third years. Okay, so there will be a lot of difficulties when you come to the next semester if you are not attentive in the whatever the online classes. Okay, so here I'll just move on. I think so you might be knowing my name. So it is Dr. Vidya Mulimani. Okay, I'm working as an assistant professor. Have you seen me?
No, ma'am.
You have not seen me? I think so for the last time I took class for the C section. Okay, anyway, so I'll be just telling what you'll be studying in the first, that is in the second course. The title of the course goes in this way: the insect ecology, principles of pest management and the natural enemies. Okay, so here the course number is 80211 and the credit it is the 2+1. Okay, so here also the syllabus is very vast. Okay, so because here in this course we are going to study how to manage. So whatever the components of the pest management we'll be studying here. First, I'm not going to the ecology here. First, first topic you can see here, the economic classification or the economic importance of the insects. So that means in the first course, you have tried to study the classification based on the tax characters. But in this course, you are going to classify the insects based on the importance. You know what is the economic importance, because in the previous course, after each of the order, the end we used to tell you what is the economic importance of that particular order. So here the economic importance means the benefit, that is the positive and the negative of the insects. For example, you take the mosquitoes. So their economic importance in terms of the causing the diseases. If you take the honeybees, they are important. In case of the positive, that means they are causing the pollination. So like that, so based on the economic importance, whether they are positive or the negative part of the insects. So here you are going to classify the insects based on the economic importance. Okay, so here you can see. So that is the beneficial insects. So that, and then you have the productive insects, useful insects, and finally you have is the destructive insect. So we are not dealing with the last one, that is the destructive insects or the harmful insects, because you have the rest of the other two courses where you will be studying the destructive part of the insects. So that is the pest of the crops like the horticulture crop, or it may be agriculture, or the insects in the storage. The last part will be dealt in the next two courses. So in this course, you'll be studying, so what are the beneficial insects? So what are the productive and what are the useful insects you'll be studying here in this course. So you are going to classify based on the economic importance of the insect to the human beings. Okay. So next, so based on the classification, after that, you'll be dealing with one by one. So that is, you have is the beneficial and the useful insect. So you'll be studying one by one. So one is the first you have is the predator. So what you're going to study, the predator means definitely you should know the definition of the predator. And when insect become a predator, so it will be having some of the structural modification. So it may be a leg modification you have seen in case of the praying mantis, or it may be mouth parts modification, that is the mandibulate type of the mouth parts. Okay. And sometimes you can see the legs, for example, tiger beetles you have seen. So it is having a running type of the leg so that it can catch the prey. So what are the structural adaptations for the predatory life you will be studying here. And finally, you'll be studying the classification of the predators based on the different type. Okay, so there are different ways you can classify the predators. So that will be dealt when under the predators. So definition, structural adaptations, and classification of the predator. So that will be studying under this topic. So next, coming to the parasitoid. So parasitoid and the predator, already you know what is the difference here. Okay, so parasite, it mainly depend on the predator, means depends on the host or the prey only for the food purpose. It is not taking the shelter. But what the parasitoid is doing is it is taking the shelter plus food. So that is the difference you find between the predator and the parasitoid. So under the topic parasitoid, so you will be studying the definition of the parasite. Okay, parasitoid. And then you can, because there is a difference between the parasite and the parasitoid. And then what are the important characters for the parasitic life? So that will be studied. The classification of the parasitoid, it is very important. So there are different ways you can classify the insect parasites. Okay. Then you can say based on the nature of host, feeding, site of feeding, whether they are feeding internally or whether they are feeding externally, Okay, so the stage of the host they are eating. If they are attacking the eggs, you'll be calling them as an egg parasitoid. If they are attacking the larva, you are going to call them as a larval parasitoid. And the duration of attack. So whether they are for a short period they are coming, for example, bed bug. Okay, so they come and take the blood and they go away. But when you take the head loose, so it cannot stay away from the host for a 1 or 2 days. If you just detach the head loose from the host, so it will die after few days. So that is what duration of the attack. So based on the different types, you are going to classify the parasitoids. And later you can see here what is the difference between the predator and parasitoid. So this is the important differences you have to study here. And later you have is the kinds of parasitism. Okay, types and the kinds of the parasitism like the simple, super, multiple, and the hyperparasitism. So all this will be dealt. So separately, all the definitions will be given with the example. So that is what with respect to the parasitoid. So next you have is the other beneficial insects where we are employing the insects. For example, weed killers. Everyone you'll come to know when it is a weed killer, it is mainly Parthenium and the Zygogramma. Okay, so Parthenium, everyone you know, and the beetle, it is mainly controlled by the Zygogramma. So that means insects are used in the control of the weeds. So that is what it is, weed killers. So to call an insect as a weed killer, you cannot select any insect which is feeding on the, because there are plenty of the insects which are feeding on the Parthenium. We are not selecting all the insects. Why we are selecting only Zygogramma? Because there are certain characters there which we call it for selecting the weed killer. So those characters you'll be studying. So characteristics of the insect weed killer. Okay, so that means it should be monophagous or it should feed only on the whatever the weed you have released, the reproduction rate. All these characters will be taken into account when you are selecting a insect for the weed killer, as for killing the weed. And later you will be studying some of the examples of the weed killers. So we have the weeds both in the water and also in the land. So terrestrial and the aquatic weeds will be studying with a few examples and whatever the weed killers are used. Okay, so that is what the weed killers. So next you have is the pollinators. Okay, so pollinators, you know that. So you are studying the different agents of the pollination because you know the wind is also involved, water is also involved, insects are also involved in the pollination. So when it comes to the insects, again, there are different insects are involved in the pollination. So you take the butterflies, moths, some of the wasps, okay, bees. So different agents are involved in the pollination. So each, for example, if an ant is involved in the pollination, we call it as a myrmecophily. So all those terminologies we'll be studying with the agent. Okay, and then what are the major orders? Which are the insects belonging to the orders causing the pollination? It may be Hymenoptera, it may be a Coleoptera. And so next you have the another most easy, what makes the bees as an efficient pollinators? Because everyone you know that, so the bees are the efficient pollinators. So that is especially the honey bees. So why they are? So those characters will be studying under the pollinators. Next topic you have is the scavengers. So you know that scavengers are nothing but the feeding and the dead and decaying matter. So that we call them as a scavengers. Okay, and some of the orders where the insects are behaving as a scavenger. So those orders will be studying with example. And next you have is the productive insects. So whenever there is a productive insect, for everyone in your mind, it is a honeybee. So where you are getting the honey. Okay, so that is the one. And also we have the other insects like the cochineal insects. Okay, so from that we are going to get a dye. So which can be used for dyeing the clothes. And then you have is the galls. So insect, when they feed on the plants, they cause some galls on the plant. So that can be used for the preparing the ink, or it may be used for the different purpose. So that is what you can see here. Whenever it is a productive insect, you have is the honeybee is there. Then also you have is the silkworm. Okay, everyone you know silk cloth. So we are getting it from the different species of the silkworms. So definitely what we have, it is a Bombyx mori. Mainly we are getting the silk. Okay. Then we have is the lac insect. So lac insect is also a sucking insect, okay, which secretes a gum-like substance that we are using for extracting the shellac. Okay. So mainly used for the gold ornaments filling. Okay. And other productive insects like the cochineal and the gall insects. So next, what are the other uses of the insects? So insects as a food. Okay. So you know that many of people are eating the insects. For example, if you take India, so the most common insect eaten is the termite. Okay. So because you know that the insects are highly rich in protein. Okay. And so mainly that is the termites are eaten. If you look into China and Thailand, some of the backward countries, especially Malaysia and all, if you look into that, so they are using insects as a food. For example, grasshoppers. During the first lockdown, you might have seen many of the videos were circulated in the WhatsApp where that is the locust have been used as a food. Okay, especially the China people, all they use the grasshoppers for feeding. Okay, so that is what you'll be studying insects as a food in scientific studies. So again, this for common example, when it is comes for the insects for the scientific studies, it is the Drosophila. Okay, and insects useful in the medicine. So that means we are using the insects for treating the diseases. Okay, for example, there is a one maggot which comes under the diphtheria. We are using for treating the wounds. For example, another you have is the honeybee. Okay, so especially the sting or the venom, it is mainly used for treating the joint pains. That is arthritis. Okay, so like that, some of the insects are exploited in the treating diseases. So that is what you'll be studying with few example. And finally, the insects in the detection of the crime. Okay, so that is called as a forensic science. Okay, so here you'll be just studying what is the forensic science, some of the examples insects, okay, which are used for in the forensic studies, especially blowfly, okay, which are coming under the diphtheria. You have the cloth moth, skin beetle. All these are exploited in the forensic studies. Okay, so all these up to here, I think so. Whatever I have listed, so all these are the useful benefit or the useful insects that we are using, or their help. Insects are helping us. Okay, so all these you will be studying in the first topic. Okay, the next you have is the first part of your syllabus, that is the insect ecology. So everyone, you know, ecology is nothing but the whatever you have your surrounding, okay? And that you'll be studying, because here you're studying the ecology in relation to the insects, okay? Because nowadays, you know that because of the climate change, so many things are happening, okay? The insects which were minor, they are taking the upper hand, okay? And whatever the chemicals we are using, they are not controlling. So that is what it is, mainly because of the change in the climate. So here, only what you are studying in case of the ecology is, first you try to understand what is the definition of the ecology and introduction to the ecology. Plus you have the two types of the ecology, that is earth ecology and the syn ecology, and how this ecology can be used in the pest management. Because it is ecology mainly consists of the biotic and the abiotic factors. So by looking into those characters, you can employ biotic and abiotic factors in the pest management. So that is the importance of the insect ecology in the pest management. And later, some of the terminologies, as usual, it is agroecosystem. What is the population, community, habitat, niche, ecosystem, biosphere, symbiosis, all these, whatever the terminologies related to the ecology, you'll be studying. And finally, most you have is the environment and its component. So as just now I had told you, it is the abiotic and the biotic factors. So which are mainly influencing our population, human beings also, because nowadays you might have seen, oh, everything is extreme. If the is the severe temperature we have. I think so during 2 years we are experiencing heavy rainfall, okay, because of the sea level is increasing. So that is what is happening. Okay, glaciers is melting. So that is the abiotic factors are the one which are playing an important role in regulating the population of any living organism. So here we will be dealing mainly with the insects. For example, take the temperature, RH, okay, different components like the rainfall, light, wind, soil, and the topography. All they will influence the population of the insect. So that is what you can see here. The factor how they influence the insect development, because if it is a high temperature, some of the insect may die. If it is too cold, again the insects will die. Heavy rainfall, again the insects will die. So like that, we'll be studying so how these abiotic factors influence on the insect development, distribution, and the dispersal of the insects. Next you have is the biotic factors. So that is mainly biotic factors includes the food. Okay. If there is a food, you know, if there is no food means what will be our situation. And plus we have the natural enemies. Insects, every living organism, we have a natural enemies. Okay. Just like you take the example of the COVID itself, it is a natural enemy on us. Okay, so for insects are also having the natural enemies. Okay, so here mainly we'll be more stressing on the food. Okay, intraspecific interactions and the interspecific interactions that we'll be studying when it comes to the food. And because of the food, you have is the competition, symbiosis, predator-prey interactions, herbivore-plant interactions. And here you have the topic that is a host plant resistance. Okay, that is a HPR, what you say. Okay, that is a herbivore plant interaction plus another component you have is the natural enemies like the predator and the parasitoid. Okay, and in the last topic under the insect ecology you have is the balance of life. Okay, so this already you might have studied. Okay, what is the balance of life, but we are not dealing much. Mainly we are dealing balance of life. Mainly we are using two factors. One is a biotic potential and another is an environmental resistance. So these are the two factors which are involved in the balance of life. Biotic potential means it is a reproductive potential, and environmental resistance means the environment is putting some barriers or something pressure to for the insect here, if you take the insect to not to attain its full biotic potential, okay, mortality will be there at the egg stage, larva, pupa, and the adult stage. We have the mortality. So that is why you can see here, environmental resistance is the one which is mainly involved in causing the balance of life. Okay, and another you have is a survival potential. That is the survival of the existence. So one which is strong, it will survive. And that is how you can see the balance of life. Okay, so this is the second topic what you have. That is the insect ecology. We have is the terminologies, and you will be just dealing with the abiotic and the biotic factors. And finally, you have is the concept of balance of life in nature. Okay, next topic you have is the pest management. So if you just go to the third in the center, you have is the principles of the pest management. Okay. So what you will be studying in the principles of the pest management. So you will be not directly moving on to the principles. Okay. First, you try to understand what is a pest. And insect pest is different. Pest is a broad term. So it includes not only insects, we also come as a pest under this. Because we also damage some of the crop by manually destroying. So that is what you can say. Pest means it is not only insect. So it includes the monkey. Okay, it includes the rats. Okay, we have the mites, spiders. Okay, all these sometimes you can call them as a pest. Okay, only we are diverting the broader heading of the pest as an insect pest. That means you are dealing only with the insects which are causing damage to our crop or to the belongings of the human beings. So that is what the middle topic you have is the principles of the pest management. So this is a very wide topic because when it comes to the pest management, we are managing the insect pest by different ways. So that I'm listing you. Okay. So here you can see, so you try to understand what is the pest, and then you are classifying these pests. The pests are classified into different ways. So if you just take based on the occurrence, when they appear, so you classify them as a regular, occasional, seasonal means in a particular season the insects will come. Persistence means throughout the year they will be there. Sporadic means in the field the distribution of the insect is not uniform. In patches it will be there. So that you call it as a sporadic. So it is based on the occurrence. Then you have is the based on the level of infestation, we call it as the epidemic and the endemic. Now you are hearing the word of the pandemic. So there is a difference between the pandemic, endemic, and the epidemic. Pandemic, you know that it is throughout the world. Okay. And epidemic means, endemic means that particular area. Okay. For example, you take Kerala, okay, and the Bombay. So even there is an incidence of the corona, it has been decreased in the other state. Okay, during the last 2 months, still we had the problem in the Kerala. So because of that only during the South India tour, so we have not entered the Kerala because of the danger of the corona. So that is what you can see. Endemic means that area, it will be always the pest will be there. So that is what an endemic area. Epidemic means just like the corona, the incidence will not be there, but sudden there will be outbreak of the pest. So that is called as the epidemic. So epidemic, endemic, pandemic, it is totally different. So here the level of the infestation, how severe the infestation, you are going to classify the insects. Then you have the third classification, that is based on the loss. Okay, how much loss an insect is causing. So you have is the major pest, key pest, minor, and the negligible. Okay, mainly for the last two, we are not taking any management practices. For example, minor, it is causing less than 5% damage. So we are not taking any management practices for the minor and the negligible. Only we have to manage the major and the key pest. So take any crop. So each crop will be having the 3 or 4 as a major pest. All will be of the minor and the negligible. So we have to concentrate only on the few insects which are causing the major damage. That is more than 10% loss they are causing. If you do not manage them, so we are not going to get an economic yield. So that is based on the loss we are causing this way. Major, key, minor, and the negligible. And all these classification will be always studied with an example. Okay. So next here you have is the second under the middle topic you have is the what are the causes why there is an outbreak of the pest in the agro ecosystem. Okay, regularly we are having the outbreaks. Okay, every 2 years we have a new pest which is coming to India from the outside. Okay, so what are the reasons from the outside and also within? Because we are destroying the forest. Okay, so those insects which are there in the forest ecosystem, ultimately they have to survive and they come and start feeding on our crop. So there are many factors which are causing the insect to become as a major pest. Okay, so all those around 10 factors are there. So that we'll be studying what are the causes for the insect to cause the outbreak. Okay, so that is the 12th topic. Next you have is the other things, that is the pest survey, surveillance, and the forecasting. So that means based on the weather parameter, especially the government, I think so you have the state department and also the central agriculture department. And especially you can see here the central government is having the different apps. Okay, so which is giving the forecasting to the farmers. So based on the weather factor, so we can say that this insect, for example, in paddy, so if that is the temperature or if it is a climatic condition so and so, so there will be outbreak of this pest. So well in advance, and message will be sent to the farmers about the whatever the pest is going to occur. So that is called as a forecasting. So for forecasting, we need to go for the survey and the surveillance. Survey means whatever we go for the different plots, we will be collecting the whatever the major crop or listing the some of the whatever the pest. Surveillance here in surveying, So what we are doing, only 1 or 2 times here we are doing. So when you go, you take a vehicle, go to the different villages and list the crop, what are the major insects. But in case of the surveillance, in a particular fixed plot, we'll be regularly for 10 to 15 years, we'll be observing what are the major and the minor insects. So that is the difference between the survey and the surveillance and the forecasting. So all that will be dealt here because which is important for the pest management. Okay, so next year we are going to the next topic, that is the pest management. So what is the definition of the pest management? What are the objectives? What are the principles of the pest management will be dealt under this topic. Next here you have is the concepts of the pest management. Okay, so because by just looking into one insect, you cannot go for this spraying. So there is certain conditions or the rules are there when we have to take the spraying, which is not followed by our farmers. So that will be dealt in the concepts of the pest management. So that means we have around 6 to 7 concepts. Under that, most important concepts you have is the ETL, economic threshold level, economic injury level, general equilibrium position, and you have is the damage boundary. And apart from this, the concept, these ETL and the EIL are the most important. So what our farmers are doing, they are taking spraying at the EIL. That is the already insect is causing the damage. So we are not, how much spray you take, we are not able to reduce the pest population because it is already established and it is already caused damage to our crop. But at what time you have to go for the spraying is the ETL, economic threshold. For each crop, for each insect that is a major pest, there is a ETL, that is the economic threshold level is there. If the population of the insect is at the ETL, so then we have to initiate the spraying. So it is always ETL is below the EIL. So when you manage at the ETL, there is no chance you are giving for the insect to reach the EIL. So these are the concepts we have to remember because this is the one which our farmers are not doing. Directly going to the chemical shops, bringing and spraying. Okay, they don't know what will happen, negative or the positive of the spraying. So that concepts will be studying under this topic. So next you have is the tools in the pest management. Okay, so we are using the different methods of the pest management. For example, if you take the cultural method, every farmer is plowing the land. Okay, so before sowing, always you know that. So the plowing of the land will be done. So this is one example where you can call it as a cultural method. So it is having an advantage. Why the farmers are plowing? Everything is having some reason. So when the farmers go for the plowing, okay, you know that many of the moths and many of the beetles, they go for the pupation in the soil. So when you go for the plowing, so they will be exposed to the hot sun, and that is how you are killing the pupal stage of the insect. So, and also you might have seen whenever a farmer is plowing, many of the birds will be there behind him. That is the reason, because they will be picking and eating on the pupal stage or the other stages of the insects which are present in the soil. So this is one example under the cultural method. So there are different examples are there under the plowing, and we are using the trap crop. All that is there under the cultural. Next you have is the mechanical method. So we are mainly using the trap. Okay, you might have studied the light trap, yellow. So different traps you have studied in the last course. Okay, so that you have studied in terms of the collection of the insects. So here you are studying the trap, how we can use it in the pest management. And another mechanical method is the hand collection. Even what there are some of the insects which can be collected by hand by human beings. So that is the egg stages we can collect, the larval stages we can collect. So that also comes under the mechanical method. So hand collection plus use of the trap, that comes under the mechanical. Physical method means mainly we are using the physical factors like the temperature and the RH for the pest management, and it is mainly targeted to the storage insect, because in the outside environment we cannot go for the regulating the temperature and the RH. But one best example I can give is the mulching. Okay, you might have seen, if you are coming from the farming background, your father may be using the paper mulching. So before sowing, so mulching, why they use it? Whenever there is a soil-borne pathogens are there. Okay, so for that, because there is a buildup of the heat inside, and we are going to kill the pathogen which is there in the soil. So that is how you can see we can apply some methods, but many of them we are using for the control of the storage inside. So next you have is the legal or the quarantine. Everyone, you know what is the quarantine. So for insects also we are doing the same thing. So whenever the grain, because we are importing the many of the material from the other countries, so it may be a food grains or anything, or it may be fruits. Whenever we are importing any of the material, so cannot directly enter into our country. So we have the quarantine stations. Okay, they will be retained, check for the whatever the insects we have. It mainly they check it for the insect, disease, and the weeds. Because for example, you take your Parthenium. Okay, Parthenium, it is not our weed. So it has come from the Mexico along with the when we imported the seed. Okay, so that is the grains when you imported. So they were contaminated with the seeds of the Parthenium. Okay, so that is how the Parthenium has come along with the grain. So because of that, the weeds are also the important which are evaluated in the quarantine station. So that is what the quarantine. So whenever we are importing, we need a phytosanitary certificate. Just like whenever a person is coming from Kerala to Karnataka, we always ask you for the COVID certificate. So here also, it is a phytosanitary certificate which is given to the any of the material which we are going for the importation. So all that thing will be studying under the legal or the quarantine method. So next you have is the biological control. So biological means using of the living organism. So it may be insects, or you may also use the pathogens like the bacteria. Virus can also be used in the pest management. Okay, so it is a broader term. So in the biological control, you'll be studying the definition. What are the approaches? So there are three approaches. Are the introduction. So if natural elements, we are going to introduce, augment, and we have is the conservation of the released natural enemy in the field system. Then you have the example for the classical biological control. So that examples will be given, and then advantages and the disadvantages of the biological control. Okay, so that is what you will be studying under the biological control, mainly because we are releasing the predators and the parasitoid into the ecosystem, into the particular crop ecosystem, which will be feeding and reducing the pest population. Another here you have is the entomopathogens. It is a part of the biological control, but here when you are using the entomopathogens, we call it as a microbial control, because here we are using the microbes. For example, if we human beings get the disease of the bacteria, virus, we also have the fungal diseases. All these are there in case of the insects also. So we are mass multiplying these causal organism, and then we are going for the spraying. So that is coming under the category of the entomopathogens. Okay, so that is what you'll be studying under the biological and the microbial control. So here, especially for the virus and the fungi, you'll be studying how you are going to mass multiply. So next method you have is the genetic method of the pest control. Okay, genetic means you are manipulating the insect directly or indirectly. That means we are inducing the sterility into the insect, and we are releasing them into the population for getting the control. Okay, so sterility is induced by using the gamma radiations. Okay, so that is what where here the genetics is introduced mainly for the control of the insect pest. Okay, next you have is the biotechnology. Okay, so what you are doing it in the biotechnology is the, so example for the biotechnology I can just give you is the transgenic cotton. Okay, now we have the BT cotton everywhere. So what is the BT cotton? So what the scientists have done is that, so they have taken the gene, okay, which produces the, that is the toxin. Endotoxin is the one which is produced by the Bacillus thuringiensis. So they have taken the one fragment which is responsible for the production of the that is the endotoxin, and it has been introduced into the plant. So any plant which is having a foreign gene into that, it is, you are going to call it as a transgenic plant. So one example for the biotechnology is that is the one. Because if you take in US, they have many BT crops. You take the maize, brinjal, many of them they have, but in our country mainly we have is the BT cotton. But now they are saying about the BT brinjal, which is not preferred by our farmers, but it is there in the market. Host plant resistance, you know that. So certain plants are there which are having the genes for the resistance. So some of the morphological characters or some of the chemicals will be released by the plant which will be showing resistance for the some of the insects. So that is what is the host plant resistance. Main concept here you will be studying under the host plant resistance is the mechanism, antixenosis, antibiosis, and the tolerance. That will be studying under the HPR. So finally, we have is the chemical method. So our farmers are not interested in any of the other methods. So what I have listed until now, they are only concentrating on the chemical. How much cost they are spending, I don't know. Okay, so every week or every twice in a week, they are spraying the crop with the many of the chemicals. So that is what is the chemicals which are used in the pest management. So what you are studying under the chemical method of the pest control is the definition. Okay, so classification of the insecticide, there are different ways you can classify the insecticide. That is based on the mode of entry, mode of action, or mode of the nature of the chemical. We are going to classify the insect, that is the chemical. So it may be you can just hear inorganic insecticide. Now we are not using the inorganic insecticide because of the phytotoxic effect they have on the plant. Phytotoxic is nothing but the burning symptoms you will find when you spray on the crop. Only here you have is the zinc phosphide, okay, which is mainly used for the control of the rat, but all other arsenic fluoride we are not using presently in the pest management. Mainly we are targeting on the organic insecticide. Okay, under that again we have the different categories that will be dealt. That is the naturally organic compounds, animals. For example, from the fish we are going to extract an oil. So that we call it as a fish oil. So Neris toxin, it is an annelid, okay, so which is present in the sea, we are going to extract some toxin. So it is mainly originated from the animals, okay. Microbes, so from the microbes also we are preparing the many of the insecticide. Whatever presently we have is in the market, what the farmers are using all presently is the microbial based insecticide. We have the ivermectins, abamectin will be missing. So a spinosad, all these are the common insecticide presently used by the farmers. Mainly they have been originated from the microbes, okay. And then we have is the that is the insecticides from the plant, okay. Best example you have is the neem. Okay, so neem is the best plant where you can use it for the control of the insects, mainly because the neem is having the different effect on the insect. So they cause the ovicidal effect. That means when you spray, the female will not come and lay the egg. So you have the larvicidal mortality. So all those things are there. So that means if you are going to extract any chemical from the plant, those are called as the botanicals or the plant origin, because mainly what you have in the neem is the azadictin. So mainly in the seed we have the higher concentration of the azadictin, so that is why we are using the neem seed for the preparing the different product, okay. And that again you have is the nicotine. So mainly you know that it is present in the tobacco. Okay, nicotine sulfate, what we have, that is a neonicotinoids. So they are the synthetic analogs of the nicotine compound. So that is what you can see. Pyrethrum, so it is from the chrysanthemum flower. Rhododendron, Deris plant. Pongamia, you know, mahu oil, garlic extract, edible oil. So many of them, we are getting it from the plant. So that is what it is, a plant origin. Finally, we have is the three important groups of the insecticide. Now, I think so we are not using the organochlorines in the pest management. Only one chemical from the organochlorine is the DDT. Everyone you know DDT. Only it is permitted for the public health pest control, mainly for the mosquito control we are advising. But almost all the organochlorines have been banned because of they have the residual property. Then you have is the carbamide, synthetic pyrethroid. So organochlorines, we have the carbamides. Okay, synthetic pyrethroids means from the plant, what you get, they prepare a synthetic analog, and then those are called as a synthetic pyrethroid. And then we have is the new insecticide compound. Okay. Now farmers have avoided these three groups, but they are more concentrating on the new molecules, but they are very costly. Okay. That is how it is increasing the cost of cultivation for the farmer. Okay. Okay. So these are the different new insecticide. Finally, you'll be studying. And then you have is apart from the insecticide, we are also having, just like in our body, we have the hormones or the growth regulators. Insects are also having the growth regulators. Okay. So for example, juvenile hormone, everyone you know about the juvenile hormone. I think so when glandular system. Have you studied the glandular system in insects?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think so. During that time, you might have heard about the Carpora cardiaca prothoracic gland. Okay, so during the process of the molting, so JH is nothing but the juvenile hormone, so which keep the insect in the immature stage. Okay, so those will be exploited because only at a certain concentration the insect will go for the molting. If a higher concentration, it will not go for the molting. So we are going to spray the externally the JH hormone onto the plant. So that is how it is not allowing the larva to not to enter into the pupa. If it is a molting hormone, we are not allowing the insect to molt to the next stage. So like those are called as a insect growth regulators. Chitin synthesis inhibitor, you know, chitinase, okay, is the one which is responsible for the secretion of the chitin during the process of the molting. So we are suppressing the activity of the chitinase. So as a result, chitin will not be secreted into the new cuticle which is formed. Okay, so that is how we are inhibiting the secretion of the chitin by the chitinase. So those are called as the chitin synthesis inhibitor. So ecdysone, it is a molting hormone. Okay, all those will be exploited in the pest management. And then you have the insecticide from the other groups. Okay, whatever the new chemicals we have is the phenylpyrazole, pyrrole group. So all these are the different groups of the insect apart from the organochlorines, carbamates, and the that is the P compounds. Okay, apart from that, we also have the different groups of the insecticide. Then you have is the means where you have the insecticide which are causing the fumigant. So fumigant means in a closed containment, so the insect will be release the gases. So those are called as the fumigants. Some of the insecticides are used as a fumigant. For example, we have is the DDVP, okay, so which is having the fumigation action. So rodenticides means the chemicals which are mainly used for killing the rats. Acaricide means, you know, you have heard about the arachnida, so where you have the spiders and the mite. So once whatever the chemicals which are used for killing the mites, those are called as the acaricide. Molluscicide is nothing but the snails and the slugs which are killed by using certain chemicals. Those you are calling them as a molluscicide. So like that, you will be just studying the definition. Under that, you have the example. Next, you'll be studying some of the parameters like the LD50, LC50, all that will be studied under the toxicology. And then you have is the other than the insecticide, whatever the method we are using for the pest, they are coming under the biorational approaches. Okay, now you have the concept under the organic farming as a biorational approach, where we are using the pheromones. In the first course, again, you have studied the classification of the pheromones, semiochemicals you have studied. Now you will be studying application. So mainly we are using the sex pheromones in the pest management, aggregation pheromones. Okay, some of the repellents, antifeedant, you'll be studying under the biorational approach. And then you have is the safe handling of the pesticide. So whenever a farmer is using any chemical for the spraying, there are certain rules and conditions there how he has to go for the spraying. Then what happens in case of this at the time of spraying, so there may be poisoning. So for that we have the first aid and also antidote for the certain group of the insecticide that will be studying. And the most important part nowadays is the resurgence and the resistance. So we try to understand what is the resurgence, what is the resistance, okay, and how you can manage the resistance problem in the insect. Finally, it is the Insecticide Act 1968. So what are the objectives of the Insecticide Act? Silent features and plant protection organization in India. What is the how it is there? Establishment of the plant protection organization. Whenever you want to register any of the insecticide, it is not easy. You have to refer for the plant protection organization. Only after submitting to some data, then only you are eligible for releasing the any of the chemical. And finally, you have is the IPM. So mainly after studying all these different concepts or different models or the different concept in the pest management, you will be studying one or two definitions, or that is the IPM models for the crop. For example, you can see here IPM models for the rice. You will not get the IPM models for all the crop, only for the commercial crop or economically important crop, plus having a long duration. Only for that, you'll be having the IPM. So you'll be studying IPM program for the rice, cotton, and the sugar cane. And you'll be studying what is the definition of IPM, history of IPM, objective, and mainly there is a few example. So with this, I think so your syllabus will be completed. So that is what your syllabus, that is a course, that is insect ecology, pest management, and the principles of pest management and the natural enemies. Okay, again, it is a vast subject. So please try to focus on what I'll be telling. Okay, so this is all the things you'll be studying in the theory. Once if you come back, so what you are going to study in the practical classes. Okay, so whatever it is, as you know that whatever it will be told in the theory classes, it will be shown in the practical classes. Okay, you can see here in the theory course, practical classes, you'll be showing the predators, parasitoids, weed killers, scavengers, okay, lac insect, all these will be shown in the practical class. So another important topic in the practical is the rearing. So here in exam also, you'll be having the questions from this mass multiplication. So where you're mass multiplying the host insects plus parasitoid, predators, and the entomopathogens, mainly the NPV and the bacteria. So all the methodology will be told in the theory classes, plus it will be shown in the practical. Okay, and you have is the insecticide formulation, how the insecticide spray fluid you can prepare, plant protection equipments, what you have studied in the farm power and machinery. Then you have the insect trap, how you can use it in the pest management, veterinary and the medical important insects. So this is not a theory syllabus, but this all will be asked in the exam, especially the external exam, what you write. So they ask you the mass multiplication of the host insect, predator, parasitoids, NPV, and the fungus. So all this part, only except here you have is the veterinary and medical importance. Plant protection equipment, it is not included in the theory portion. Okay. Household insects you have, that means mainly cockroaches, whatever you have, they are coming under the household insect. Study of the non-insect pest, that is other than the insects. You have the crab and all, you'll be studying here. And then if you are coming back, you will be having a field visit. Okay. So this is all what you will be studying in the practical. Okay. So I think so with this, I just given you the brief background about what you are going to study in this course. Please student, concentrate what I am telling you. Okay. And this syllabus soft copy I'll be just sending to Gavisidesha. I think so he will circulate to you. Okay. Do you have any doubts? Any doubts you have? ಏನಾದರೂ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಏನ್ರಿ? ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಮುಂದೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮಗೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ನಮಗೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. So but you are not in front of us, but we are only online here. Please students, I am just encouraging, don't neglect the online classes. I think so now you might have faced when you came back of, I think so during the second semester. Okay, you have faced a lot of problem. Okay, so please don't do that. So whatever I'll be just telling, please concentrate. Okay, any doubts here in regarding to your syllabus?
No, ma'am.
No, I think so now you know what will be the load of your course. Okay, it is again a heavy course. Okay, so please try to read as and when I tell you. In this, you have to remember the scientific name. Okay, in the first course, you already know what are the scientific names, but here, when it comes to the predator, parasitoids, weed killers, scavengers, all you have to remember by the scientific name. Okay, especially parasitoids are not having the common name. So all you have to remember by the scientific name. Please, after whenever I complete the class, please don't waste your time. Okay, try to go through what I have told during the respective classes. Okay, with this, I think so I will just wind up the classes. Okay, so if you have any doubts or anything, there is a chat box. If you are not hesitate to ask any questions, from next class, I think so it is on Wednesday, I will start directly whatever the syllabus is there. Okay, because the syllabus is very vast. Okay, I will just not waste the classes. Okay, from the Wednesday onwards, I will start the actual whatever the syllabus is there for you. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but then take care, students. Don't go here and there. Okay, take care of yourself, because I think so now in Bangalore you might have heard what is the cases and all. Okay, please be in your house. Don't waste your time. Attend the classes. Not only it is entomology, other classes also. Please concentrate and read. Take care. Okay. Bye, students.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye. Bye. Bye.